the electorate of Nigeria, the voters in Nigeria, or the whole population of Nigeria is waiting for the final outcome of the election that took place over the weekend on Saturday, and then they had another round on Sunday in areas which could not start the whole process on Saturday. What do you make of the conduct of the whole election in itself?
I think it has been very interesting. I have done keen monitoring of happenings in Nigeria, and I think that Nigerians need to be commended for having such peaceful elections. I mean, wholly peaceful elections. I've heard that there were some electoral violence, in some pockets of areas, which has led to the loss of some lives. But I think that on a whole, they have acquitted and discharged themselves, creditably. We are waiting for the results, but you see, as it happened in Ghana in 2012, it was expected that they are going to have problems with the verification machines, the machines that they used. These are machines. Even our normal phones, our normal equipments that are produced by highly efficient and reliable manufacturers do suffer some challenges one way or the other. So it was expected that there could be an occasion where you have the verification machines developing some challenges. So it was expected. Just as it's happened in Ghana, I think it is the right decision by the NEC for the election to be moved to the next day, so that nobody will be disenfranchised, so that everybody can exercise their voting rights. All in all, as at yesterday, close of day, the reports were that all those who were disenfranchised on Saturday were able to cast their votes on Sunday. I think it's a very good thing, and the Nigerians need to be commended for that. I have heard some of the observers, the ECOWAS observer team, give their reports, and they have spoken very well about how the elections were run in Nigeria and so on and so forth. And they have also made the point that at a point there were concerns about security presence at the polling stations. They thought that it was intimidating some of the voters from exercising their rightful But there was another explanation from President Kufuor indicating that if you look at the security situation in Nigeria, they couldn't have anything better. That was the best for them. They needed to put in every single security measure available to make sure that they don't go into any form of crisis. The work of Boko Haram here and there and so on and so forth. So the security was very, very, very tight. And I think the security agencies must be commended. Again, the angle of media reportage. I have done some monitoring of the media in Nigeria as well, and I think that all in all they are doing very, very well, except that people have raised concerns that they are giving out provisional results, and they think that most of the provisional results are coming from politically influenced media houses and so on and so forth. While some of them may come from politically biased media houses and so on, I'm sure there are very credible media houses in Nigeria that are churning out more reasonable provisional figures that are actual figures that are coming from the polling stations, just like we did in Ghana. Multimedia was able to collate all the results that were coming from the polling stations far ahead of the declaration by the Electoral Commission, and everybody was seeing what was going on. And I think that for every developed country, that's the way to go. I don't expect anything less. For every developed country that has media freedom, that has that is practicing democracy, there is a need for the media to be given that opportunity to tell the people what really is going on. So it's media reportage. You have a reporter in Ablikuma Central, some police station in Mataiko, and you don't expect the reporter to mention the figures that are being announced in the police station. I think that would be ridiculous, to say the least. The reportage must come from the ground, and they can do their own calculations. I think electoral results are not collated with any sophisticated mathematical formula. It's just simple additions, you understand? It's not any sophisticated mathematical formula. So anybody can pick the figures from the polling stations
and
add up and be able to come up with a provisional results. The Electoral Commission will bring the final results though, but the difference will not be that much, just as multimedia did in 2012 in Ghana.
Well, we're taking a break. When we come back, we'll be having in the studio Kamaldeen Abdullahi, who is the National Nasarawa Coordinator of the NPP, helping us conclude our discussions for the day. Well, so Kamaldeen Abdullahi, he's a National Nasarawa Coordinator of the NPP, has joined us now. Kamal, now we're talking about the Nigerian elections. Your own observation so far?
Well, good morning to our viewers out there, and I must apologize sincerely for not doing the gentleman thing by coming early. So, well, I think that the happenings in Nigeria is clearly a sign that African democracy is gaining a bit of grounds. Because being the most populous country in the sub-region, in fact, in Africa, I should say, and also being a country where most of the Western countries or the international community have their eyes on, I believe that the growth of democracy there would indeed go a long way to enhance our democratic dispensation in Africa. So with what I saw yesterday, apart from over 300 out of the 150,000 polling booths that we had, there's about 300 polling booths or polling stations or units as they call them, indeed where we have bits of problems and all that. But the rest fairly good, not too bad. I mean, not too bad at all. You see, but my worry is that the way the observers have come quickly to say that, look, we lost the elections, it's perfect, it's free and fair. No, you wait until the results are collated and, of course, announced before you say some of these things. You know, when you don't do this, you see, we've always had these problems. After coming out to say you've observed a free and fair election, then at the point of announcing the result, someone feels aggrieved and think that things did not go well. How then? And you, of course, see that no, something has happened. Wait a minute. At that moment, please, let me land you. At that moment, you may not be able to come out to say that this is what I said earlier and this is what is happening actually. I think we'll have problems. So I would have thought that the observers, being the ECOWAS team, the international observers, European Union and all that, they should have at least restrained themselves a bit on that until the elections were over or the results had come out. But by and large, fairly good, not too bad.
I think that the stake now will be with the final result and how it will be accepted. Because prior to the commencement of the poll, the anticipation was that, Buhari was being speculated to be in the lead, etc. What if he doesn't get to win?
Yesterday, we also received reports that about 23 states, PDP were in the lead and they had won. Yesterday. So there are conflicts. That's why I said that, look, if you are an observer, you take your time. Even the INEC, it took the INEC chairperson, Jega, to come out to say that no, all those speculations on the social media, all those news going around and all that, they don't matter.
Okay.
Whatever comes from them is what matters. So I think that for
this
now,
election, the campaigning has been characterized by a lot of money being doled out, and you even see it on social media. Somehow the pictures get to be leaked. They are branded rice and even Gary and granuts, and sugar, all packaged nicely.
First of all,
the expenditure on the election.
Let me pick it quickly from this angle. That you see, when you are given as an observer, when you are given the reports of an elections, whether it's free and fair, what really constitutes whether the election was free and fair is the process of conducting the election. It's not the result that comes out. It's not about who wins the election or who loses the election. You understand? So I strongly disagree with Kama on that particular issue. I've heard President Kufuor's team, giving some reports, and I think that is it. The elections are over. They are now collating the results. Whatever comes out as the results does not really affect the fact that it was a free and fair election on the whole. You understand? I think that is fundamental. We don't need to belabor that. There again, the issue of spending, electoral spending. You recall that in Ghana in 2011, or was it 2010 thereabout, after our elections, when the IE had to bring out a report on incumbency abuse by the NPP, how they spent a lot of money indiscriminately on the elections, you know, vote buying and so on and so forth, and they had to quickly pull it down. African elections on the whole generally has been characterized by, you know, some of these things, you know, buying rice, sharing clothes, and so on and so forth. It is basically because of our cultural and our socio-cultural settings and economic settings.
And that is acceptable?
And economic settings. It is totally unacceptable because it makes elections much more expensive, and it
but
makes,
you the politicians
it makes elections, you know, more easier for the highest bidder, people who have money, you know, and it doesn't really help us to choose the right leaders who will help us to build our socio-economic, you know, standards as a country. I think that I have seen some of the pictures. I don't know whether they are credible or not. You know, I've seen some rice, I've seen some gari, some yams, even branded with the buari, you know, and all that. So yes, some yams and all that branded. Yeah. No, the ones that I saw.
I think rather it's got to do with
Jonathan. I think I saw the Jonathan rice as well, but I saw the buari.
Anyway, I think the PDP, they have the same symbol as the NDC.
No, Roland. I mean that is not the point. I am looking at. I am mentioning.
I'm only trying to identify.
I'm mentioning. Yes, I'm mentioning the things that I saw. I saw a yam branded with buari's picture, and I saw some rice branded
as we head into 2016 come out.
Yeah.
Can we learn some lessons about the expenditure on the elections, and especially when we have to say in Ghana now we're in dire economic straits?
You know what? Interestingly, yesterday I heard a voter in Nigeria being interviewed on TVC News Nigeria. The voter said, "Look, you can bring me all the money, you can bring me all the goodies, but my vote is my vote, and my power is my thumb." You know what?
That's true.
The change I am looking for, I am going to go for it. Or the retaining of power that I'm looking for is what I'm going to go for. The voter was speaking with all the passion. So I think that money, yes, indeed, is used so much in our body politicking as Africans and all that. However, we should not allow. You see, the time has come for voters to know that we cannot be taken for granted. Someone sits there for 4 good years, forgets of you. Only when he needs your votes, he comes with a bag of rice, or he comes with a bag of sugar, or something, or whatever you call it, yam. I never saw a single thing branded in Buhari's name anyway. But I told Otukono in a different platform we're seated. I said, look, the wind of change is blowing. People are sick and tired of bad policies. People are sick and tired of branding tablets and iPhones for your son's wedding or your daughter's wedding. People are tired of it, and yet they sit there and suffer. Someone is struggling with to get a headpan. He goes to rent a headpan. Okay, you know what? They hire the headpan. So
I'm happy.
I'm coming. They go to hire a headpan.
You know, it's carry. It's part of the sharing.
Excuse me, to go out there and carry.
And another branded.
Now
you are sharing and another branded headpans for Kayayis across the country. And you think
Roland, I think I should learn.
Okay, please learn.
Now the person, excuse me, the person is struggling to get a headpan to even just go do a menial job.
So you give him another branded headpan.
Please, you let me learn. Then now you are not in power. You see that this is what the person does every day for her living or for his living. Okay? Then you go to say, no, never go to rent this car headpad again. I will give you this. Waiting the time I come to power, then I will see if indeed
with
I have the resources, I will manage it well and make sure I better your life. That alone is better.
Okay, we have some few minutes to hit 9, and that's when we end the show. But the national chairman of the NPP is being quoted as having summoned a higher authority of the party. That's the national, is it executive council? National council to an emergency meeting on Wednesday. Is it Wednesday?
Sure, that's true.
To deal with the proposals which have caused upheavals across the country among your supporters.
Yeah.
Is it true?
Yes, indeed. You see, Roland, let me explain this very well.
Well, you have all the platform.
To understand just a bit of it. We have the highest delegates conference, which is where all the delegates meet.
When is the council meeting?
It's supposed to be Wednesday.
Not today?
No, Wednesday. Okay. Actually, it was slated for today, but for some reasons best known to our national chairman, he had to postpone it to Wednesday. That's fine. Then we have the highest delegates congress. Beneath it, we have the national council. Under that, we have the national executive committee. Then we have the steering committee. These are the bodies that take decision for the party. A steering committee, where I'm a member, we do take a decision, okay? Or we propose decisions to NEC. NEC then looks at it and say whether to uphold it or not to uphold it. This is what happened. Now, the affirmative action thing that have actually not sat down well with some of the supporters of the party, okay, came up as a National Executive Committee. In the wisdom of the committee, we say, okay, let's take a decision on it. Both the fees, the affirmative
You're not a member
action.
of the committee?
I am a member, of course. I'm a member.
You were there when the decision
I was there, of course.
Okay.
It's not for me to sit down and
that's supposed to
all
be
that happens
confidential.
there anyway, but I was there. And once a decision is taken and we are all part of it, we took the decision. I have to say that. Okay? Whether you were contrary to the decision or you were for the decision, it doesn't really matter.
But now you have to reconvene because
we are reconvening to review the decisions. You see, that is why there's an appellate process, even in the court.
If you say to review, either to maintain or to look at the pros
review,
and cons.
looking at it, rethinking or looking at it again, it's revision. Indeed. If you are going to put down something, as I said, the higher body is there, the appellate process is there. No wonder the national chairman has actually invoked the powers of the National Council now to look into this matter. It is so. Even in court, when you go to district level court and you are not satisfied, you apply to the High Court. From High Court, you are not satisfied, you go to the Appeals Court. From Court of Appeals, you can go to the Supreme Court. That is why we have bodies like that. We are not saying that once everything is said, it's cast in stone and it's finished. No. So, please, this affirmative action thing, trust me, a very good one that it was, but the timing didn't help us. And that's a factor.
What would the timing be right?
You are getting to know about the timing following the reaction.
I'm saying that.
Because you were at the meeting. If you knew that the reaction
would be... This is a lesson. This is a lesson to we as a political party and a political party everywhere. When you are taking decision, indeed, you should ensure that before even you go into such decision, and I'm being hard on this, I know what I'm talking about, we should try as much as possible to make sure we do broader consultation and seek the opinion of the people on the ground. You understand? They gave you the mandate though, but you need to at least go down there, sound the bells, listen to what they're going to say before you come to even take a decision. I will tell you, we are all culpable for not doing this before doing this. And I stand to be blamed for it. We are culpable for not doing that because masses constitute the party. That is why they say the highest delegate conference is the highest decision-making body because we have.
When you were taking the decision, you didn't know masses.
I am saying that we do. That's the point. But we should have at least, you see,
on hindsight.
Absolutely, okay. We should have at least done that. I get what I mean. So for me, I have no problem. That's why we have a window there to, look at some of these things. And then
we're being told that if it's today or Wednesday when you're going to convene the thing, it's possible the decision will be rescinded.
Well, for me,
or you don't want to preempt.
For me, frankly speaking, whatever decision that we take,
you stand by
to anger the masses of the party or to get them not to be happy with us. Bear in mind, they are those going to carry out the campaign underground. So you don't do things to incur their wrath. Ensure that.
From the way you are doing, it's as if you were against it. There is a confidential.
I think that this matter is a very interesting one. The new clause the NPP brought out last week
has generated. I don't think it's
I mean, it's a decision. It has generated a lot of heat. People call it the ESLA clause. Others are saying the things we do for love clause and so on and so forth.
That's speculation.
Yes, yes. That's the opinion of others.
You are speculating. No, because I haven't heard it from anywhere.
Oh, I've heard it. It's all
over.
It's all about things
we do for love clause.
For
you have never dropped this mischief.
Please, my brother. Please, my brother. Seeking to stop, men from contesting female MPs and all that. I think that is a very interesting affirmative action policy that any political party can take. It's very, very, weird. Why wouldn't the NPP consider that out of the over 90% of the seats in the Ashanti region where it is secured, they say that okay, they are going to reserve a few of them for the women so that they know that okay, then these few seats they are assured for any woman to contest.
But you don't
and they would assume that any woman winning in any swing constituency like SLS constituency, you say that no man should contest her because you think that she can win the election.
Why
or
you
think
that Osla? We
no,
never
because her constituency is a swing constituency. No, I'm referring to a swing constituency.
Please,
I'm referring to a swing constituency, and that is what readily comes to mind. That constituency is a swing constituency.
And I'm saying the decision was not for Osla constituency alone.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
No, you can't.
I just cited an example.
Peter, I'm saying the decision was not for Osla.
There's nothing to correct. I'm saying that looking at a swing constituency like Esler's constituency, you understand, it is very wrong to make such an because you could have a gentleman in their party.
Are you citing Esler's constituency as an example?
Yeah, as a swing constituency, as an example to buttress my analysis. But you see, be that as it may, I think the NPP have been exposed grossly once again for their tribal, kind of politics that they've been playing in this country.
In what way?
Look at what they did with the guns, saying that no non-guns should contest anybody in some coastal constituencies.
You feel there's something wrong with that?
About 3 of those constituencies that they mentioned were not even coastal constituencies. Amasaman, I don't know whether the gutter in Amasaman looks like the sea for the NPP, calling it a coastal constituency.
That's not a very good comment, is it?
No, but bro, you describe Amasaman as a coastal constituency. You describe Konkatamanzo as a coastal constituency and say that no non-guns should contest and all that. I think it's an affront to our democratic principles in this country. Now, what has happened elsewhere, everywhere across the country, is that every single person who feels that he has the needed popularity to win an election in any political party has the fundamental human rights to contest the election.
Well, we do understand, but you do understand that the subject of affirmative action, as taken by the NPP, is not in the wrong, is it? Perhaps it could be that the timing is wrong.
No. What better time can you have for this kind of action?
You know what?
What better time? The point is that all political parties, please, I'm coming. All political parties have made it a point to try and empower women in one way or the other. If you look at our manifesto, we promised that we were going to make sure that we get about 20% of our
you said
40% of women, in appointment positions, and we have been able. We have achieved that. No, we have achieved that. In Parliament, we have not. In Parliament, we have not. In Parliament, we have not.
My time is up.
In Parliament, we have not been able to achieve that. But what a political party should do is to empower the women so that they become much more competitive to be able to beat gentlemen in any election.
Now I have to give you a minute because my time is up. At the meeting, do you think that the decision you will take will now perhaps resonate the concerns of the masses out there?
Bottom line is, let's listen to the cry of the masses. I'm sure that is...
What is the cry of the masses? Others are supporting the affirmative action.
Please. What I'm saying is the bottom line is that there was, of course, some red flags being raised against a decision taken. Of course, we have resorted to the National Council or the higher body to look at it or to review it. Indeed, any decision that will be taken there, I tell you, will be much resonating more with the people on the ground than nothing else. That's exactly what I'm going to tell you. And if they endorse the ESLA clause, then it means that it goes. I trust that. There's nothing called an ESLA clause here. For God's sake, let us be very, civil and whatever we are doing, and let's be discerning. Okay, we are talking to
I agree. I agree.
We are talking.
Let him wrap up because we have to.
So the point is that we are going to look at what indeed the masses or the majority will say, and what will be done to us as a good decision, then we take it. And trust me, it's going to be
Kamaldeen Abdullahi is the National Nasarawa Coordinator of the NPP. Well, he was in that very meeting. They will be meeting again either today or Wednesday, and they'll get to have some conclusion to the subject of whether they need to have those 16 constituencies currently being occupied by women, not contested by their male counterparts. And you'll be looking at the other one too, about the coastal.
No, you see,
that one has just generated.
The decision
Alright, and Peter Otokuno is the Deputy Chief Executive of the National Youth Authority. Thanks for joining me for the show this morning, and we'll be here same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Good morning.